Hi, in this video we will show you how you can import your actuals data from Assignar into your Xero instance and then do budget versus actual reporting as well as invoicing from the actuals data that you import from Assignar. For this workflow, we will need an Assignar dashboard, which is fairly straightforward. We already assume that you're familiar with Assignar at this point. We won't go through the timesheet capture workflow. We will just assume that you've captured some time and attendance information in Assignar. We'll simply show you how you can import that into Xero by using an Assignar add-on called Upsheets. And if you go to upsheets.assignar.com, you can register for this add-on without needing a credit card. You can sign up for a free trial for a few weeks and go from there. And you can also connect Upsheets with your Xero instance, which is what I've got here in front of me. And the way you do that, you simply follow the steps after you sign up. It's fairly straightforward. I've currently connected my Assignar demo Xero instance, and you can connect multiple companies, which can be in Australia, New Zealand, and also UK supported. So supporting 3 regions and multiple companies. But for this exercise, we will default to my Assignar demo company here, and we will leverage the projects menu. In here, you can create all your projects in Xero, which is an additional feature inside Xero that you need to specifically enable. I think when you sign up for a trial Xero account, or out of the box, projects is not enabled, but you can turn that on in the settings menu down here. Okay, so the process of setting up Xero projects is very straightforward. You can simply create one in draft or in progress status. You simply need to give it a contact. You give it a name. You give it a project deadline or an estimated deadline, and you can also specify the estimated amount for that project. So you can budget, for example, $1 million for this project, or you can calculate it based on the actuals or tasks and estimated expenses. So I'm not going to create a new one. I've already created one called Runway 1. And if I click into that project, you can see that the deadline is the 31st of August. I still have 39 days. And for each project, you can then create your essentially a work breakdown structure, which is a list of tasks. And in the first task that I have there is excavate site area. And typically these tasks are the ones that you already have in Assignar. So that way, when you export your timesheets out of Assignar, they are all linked to a specific task, which will then be linked to your Xero tasks automatically. So for example, excavate site area, the budgeted number of hours for that specific task is 130 hours, and we are charging that task to the customer at $100 an hour. So that way, if we hit the edit screen here, estimated hours is I'm estimating 130 hours of excavate site area task. I'm going to charge this on an hourly basis, and I'm going to charge that out at $100 an hour. So overall, I'm budgeting $13,000 for this specific task for the project. You can also choose to have a fixed price or also non-chargeable tasks as well. But in this case, we'll default this to an hourly rate, and Assignar will feed that information into Xero through CSV file by using Upsheets as the import tool. So that way, when you export this out daily, weekly, monthly, however often you want to do, the more frequently you do it, the better visibility you'll have into your project cost progress. It's once your data is in there, you'll get a nice little progress here to see how you're tracking from the expenses point of view. I also have a bunch of other tasks in here as well. Okay, so let's once you've imported all your data and actuals from Assignar, you can then create an invoice out of that. But let's first go through the progress. I'm inside I'm now in Assignar using an Insights module, which simply allows you to export data in whichever format you prefer. We really just need the person's name, the date, the project, which needs to exist in Xero, role or task, and also some hours for each task that you've captured. That's essentially what you need to capture. Okay, and I'm now going to go into projects. You can also import timesheets, which we have a separate video on how to import timesheet data, which is very similar to this. However, in this example, it's going to be a little bit simpler. All we need to do is select the project's export that you can export directly out of Assignar Insights in CSV format. And I believe it's this one here. Let's just have a quick look at it. Yep, that looks about right. We're going to open that. The file contains the header row, and we will now import that file. Here it is. And now we just need to map the fields. I obviously have more columns that I actually need for this import to work, but this is what Xero requires us to have. We need to know who the user is, and these users need to exist in your Xero account. This is the date. We need the project, which is Runway 1, so we'll link that to the project in Xero. We will also need the task itself, which is the role in my export. And we will need the total hours, which is going to be hours. And now we're going to validate this file. Okay, excellent. So this is wonderful that Upsheets validates the file for me. Obviously, it's detected a few other projects like Sydney Lyric Theatre, which I don't have in my Xero account, and it's telling me project not found. So by default, it will highlight those problematic rows and it will not import them. I have this project, however, multiple tasks with the same name exist in Xero. 40-ton all-terrain. Isn't that interesting? So if we go into... Oh, that's right. There's one and there's two. So if I go and maybe delete one of them, okay, go back here and we can revalidate this file against our Xero instance. Okay, yeah, it's looking a bit better. Those errors have gone. Now it's picked up a few rows that don't have the total hours, and some rows don't even have a project in them because project is sort of optional in Assignar. So it's excluded those for me, which is really nice. So it'll only import Runway 1. Obviously, in real world scenario, you will set all your projects up in Xero and Assignar. But this looks pretty good. That looks like it's all been validated. I'm happy with it. Those problems we will exclude by default. And we simply hit upload to Xero. And in a few seconds, this will be uploaded in Xero. And then we'll flick over to the Xero tab and see what's happened. Okay, now that's done. We've uploaded 29 records. Now if we flick over to Xero and we reload this page, okay, getting there. And there it is. I'm not sure what's happened there. Xero was thinking hard about refreshing. There we go. And that number has gone up a little bit now. It's telling me that my estimate of $1 million, I have not invoiced any of this yet, but this is based on my hourly rates that I've configured. This is the time that I've captured from Assignar, and this is what what I would be invoicing to the customer, which means I am way below the budget at this point. Excavate site area, I have budgeted 130 hours and I have collected 106 hours, so I'm still under budget there. However, this second task, clear site area, I've budgeted 50 hours, however I've captured 86 hours there. And that red line tells me how much over budget I am for this specific task. So it's a really nice visual that you get here. Okay, now I've captured that this is my nice little work breakdown structure, which gets updated immediately. I can create an invoice off the back of this. I can create it off the project amount. Let's see the deposit. In fact, let's try in tasks and expenses, because this is what we want to invoice to the customer. We want to invoice line items. And this will pull in all of my timesheets and people and tasks that I've collected. So I can choose to invoice the entire lot. And I've captured 3 tasks. So if I expand this out, this excavate site area, for example, it'll actually itemize. It'll break this down into each individual person that operated against this role. Pretty straightforward. I can send this to an open draft invoice. So that's essentially, here it is. There's my invoice. Obviously I haven't set up it's still in draft status. I haven't set up online payments. This is a demo account. But yeah, this is what your invoice now looks like. We can send that as an e-invoice and so forth. We will hit send to make the invoice processed. Invoice done. Excellent. Okay, I will not bother with sending an e-invoice to anybody. But now that that's been awaiting processed, I will go back into my projects. Okay, now let's go into my Runway 1 project. Okay, so my estimate has been updated. It's telling me that I've invoiced 2.1% of my overall estimate, which means I still have a long way to go. Yeah, that's a very, very quick summary on how you can obviously go and tab across quotes and invoices and profitability tabs and time tabs. This is a new functionality in Xero, but it's a really nice way to keep track of your project progress in real time. And all you need to do is import your data using our Upsheets add-on, which is very, very powerful and easy to use. It's self-serve. You can sign up on upsheets.assignar.com, and Assignar customers also have at the point of recording 25% discount on one seat or multiple seats. Thank you.